I don't know if they actually won the round already. I think we might have been talking about back on Ascent when they won the last round. We got a 0-0 ball game here. It's even score. We're starting it off fresh. Don't believe the lies that Mimi is espousing. She often does that. But believe in the truth of Dodo Nut. Because Dodo Nut, Dodo, or Donut, whichever one you want to call her, was unleashed back on Ascent. And hello! Welcome back to the show. Beautiful work from her, but SwimTrack blew a bounce back instantly. Now these SRG players, they're isolated on opposite sides of the map, and Noya is looking at 3 players coming exactly her way.
This is such a tough angle to find success from. But Swim isn't going back into her yet. Instead, there's a fight towards CT. Lydia ready for this one, and that's a big win for Shopify.
Huge gamble to step forward there, but you remember back on Fracture when Noya and Lydia were alive last together, they were always coming out on top. Still, SwimTrack have ideas. The plant, I thought, was going to be a little bit more for spawn. That's where Sherrod is posted.
It could be a rewrap, though. Look at Sherrod already back towards spawn.
Oh, it's a crazy timing, but Noya has the read, and it's a knife out. Sherrod punished for it. So Corrupt, a standout player, especially on this harbor, has been lights out for SwimTrack all series long, all stage long. Where is Lydia, though? Oh my god, she's just nowhere to be found! Taken out like that! Corrupt comes out with a bang.
That is such a sick Red Bull clutch from Corrupt. That round went back and forth, I think 3 different times. It started with this absolutely incredible 2K from Dodo, only for the rest of the team to find some amazing brawl in mid. I think especially getting those picks bot mid from Bob. The Noya bringing it back under control, only for Corrupt to do this. The way she isolated those fights too. The off angle towards the player rotating in and then reading into that, the perfect flick shot.
Yeah, it's funny because the 2 kills Shopify got before it were like both timing kills, you know? It was just like, it was like a good presence of mind from them, but it required the mechs for Corrupt to win that round, and those were excellent. I actually remember at the top of the day, the desk was highlighting how good Corrupt's harbor has been, specifically on this map, and already starting to put on a show.
Toxin screen down.
That's for sure. Bob holding back in spawn with this outlaw. Shopify only having classics, nothing invested into this round. With the siege of this round.
0 for 2, but Sherrod is 2 for 2. And it might get a little bit worse with Arias moving on in. Spectre in hand. Blasting Shopify inside of double doors. So, in a very big departure from Ascent. Remember on Ascent, Shopify Rebellion, they won both pistols, they won both bonuses, and that was just kind of the map. SwimTrack already have turned that on its head.
That they have. And for SwimTrack on this attacking side, they obviously have really good exec power with the Phoenix, with this Neon as well, to go for the faster ideas. But I want to see, when it does get to slower rounds, how they deal with Shopify's mid control. I've liked how Shopify constantly play for that space, always look to get Dodo there. They're going to have really fast rotates because of it. And I think that is a strong way to play against a team that it's tough to hold sights against, because look, here's a Phoenix ult.
We got a Phoenix ult. There's also a Harbor ult, by the way. SwimTrack are committing both here to try and win their own bonus round. Throwing everything into it, and at that range, the full spray on the Stinger is what helps out to get the first kill. A little bit insane now as the fight continues pushing forward. Sherrod has claimed 3 into the round, and they have just given Shopify a taste of their own medicine. It's just lights out on the Phoenix from Sherrod. And SRG are just going to save the few rifles they've got claim over.
I don't remember the last time I saw a team get 2 ultimates on a round 3 of a game. That is honestly pretty crazy to see. Sherrod's already halfway to the next run it back, by the way.
Right.
I'm sure that's fair.
Yeah, definitely seems fair. Alexis has 2 orbs to her name, and Sherrod has already ulted and has more than her.
Yeah, they've gotten 9 this game so far. I mean, we're talking about the exec power of this comp. They put it on display immediately. Because it's not just that you play back and you're going to be fine to play retake. It's any util remaining. They will keep fighting. They will be pop flashing through at weird angles. The Phoenix Flash is brutal to try and turn. And when you add a Neon sliding on top of that, it is really challenging to fight this team.
No easy task. And now, Shopify, they don't really have the tools to force up behind the rifle, so it'll just be a hero on each side of the map. Maybe wanting to get lodged up inside A main with Dodo's rifle here. Early knife spots nothing, so instead Shopify just let Dodo patrol and can work back and maybe even stack heavier on the B side.
Hope for one orb for Sherrod. They're saving this other one. Dodo has stepped into the space. Bob.
Ooh, this is gutsy out of Bob. Just choosing to take that fight in an early pick. Handed over to Shopify now. Good dash actually puts Dodo, I don't even think she was trying to go there, but she's going to love the position she somehow found herself in, while Sherrod continues to dominate. That was the only other rifle that Shopify had heading into the round, and Sherrod is already up in front of the harbor wall. Madness from the Phoenix player, as Shopify have to adjust to this fearless playstyle, and they're going to have to adjust to a 2v3 retake.
Sarah only has the Sheriff to work with. Both players coming back through mid. Really has to be Dodo this round.
Well, it really has to be, because Sarah's not even part of the mix anymore. We'll see Dodo still hanging out in tunnel.
She thinks about Corrupt's position. There's a chance. But she has so many angles to worry about.
So hard to clear away the harbor, but 29 HP just needs a singular bullet! And yet the trade is instant out of Glowstick. 4-0 to open up this fourth map.
We're looking at a round 5 as well, where the second Phoenix ult is coming online. This is a comp that does not forgive if you lose early. This is a comp that snowballs like crazy. I mean, they're on pace for a 4 ult half right now.
We're going to keep tracking it, because this is absolutely ridiculous. And the way in which Sherrod just waltzed into the B site. Contested, but not punished.
Did not care.
And now Dodo, no, the operator, just the kneecap was spotted from Bob. And good patience out of the Viper. That'll be your second ult of the half, instantly sent back. A main completely controlled, but Arya is behind them. Has gone in a mad sprint through mid to pinch out those players. Sarah just watched her teammates die while she was trying to rotate into the site. And just like that, 4 becomes 5.
SwimTrek play with absolutely no reverence for who you are. Bob just taking the timing to step past from barrier drop, full walking to get that kill onto Dodo. You look towards the other side, it's Arya just full sprinting mid as her teammates are putting pressure in A main. Any slight gap given, any opportunity, SwimTrek will take it.
So now Sherrod has ulted twice before Shopify have used a singular ult. SwimTrek have used 3
Oh my god,
total.
you're right.
Yeah, no, it's
That is
actually
insane.
Ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, the reminder win would be keeping the op alive, but I mean, the hunt was absolutely on. Now, Arya's got an ult for themselves too.
Remember, bullets
5-0. And Shopify, unfortunately, that was the first round where they finally had an operator online. That was when they finally had another chance with guns. But now it's reset yet again. They're staring down the barrel of 0-6. Bob's got the operator. After getting blown out on Ascent, Chrissy, this just feels like I'm back to map 1 and map 2 of this series with SwimTrek in complete control of the game.
I feel like there's like a lock-in like button that they press and they just like unclick that for Ascent.
Yep.
Now they're completely back in control, back in the driver's seat. Shopify back on pistols, and Dodo's like, hey, I wanted to ult 1 time. So Shopify now with their first ult of the game. They've activated it, and you look at it, they're about to start hitting their big ults. So really, barring some miracles here, round 7 is kind of the make or break of this half, I feel, when Shopify are going to have those ults for the first time, and They're actually going to have some guns behind it, too.
That's for sure going to be the one that matters. This went a lot slower. Instead of just posturing up into a main, SwimTrack are taking a bit of time, letting Bob work with the Viper op.
But the angle that Sarah's playing right now, you'd have to go so far forward from Bob. You'd have to expose yourself to top mid and tunnel, which just seems a little bit unlikely until the escort comes in from Sherrod. Oh.
30 seconds left.
Dash of bullets sent Sarah's way. And again, it's just Sherrod just kind of walking into sights. That's been the winning way. 20 seconds left, though. And the knife's still online. Let's see if Shopify can do anything, but the right click doesn't quite catch the second. And so Noya sees in the kill feed that she's all her team's got. And that momentary breath of low life, chance of hope, dashed away.
Really looked like a chance with that flash. We've done multiple players there, but now it's just a formality for Arya to swing in. Take Arya, rather Noya out of this round.
Yeah. By the way, this is exactly how Fracture started too, right? I remember it was a 6-0 lead. Shopify called a timeout. Yes. And then everything turned around. Then you had the Lydia clutch, right?
Yeah.
Then Lydia and Noya
started to believe it looked like they could make it back in. We're just a few rounds from winning that map. And you look back at yesterday's series, map 5, it's a similar tale. Shopify go down big time. It looks like this massive streak. FlyQuest is running away. Only for them to turn around.
Yeah,
this be that round.
They're never out of a map, and I think now with some ultimates potentially in play, have to consider that as well. Interesting that Noya's holding on to the Viper's pit. Didn't just instantly use that in B main. Thinking about responding later into the round. I like the spot from Dodo.
Nice forward line. SwimTrack posturing heavy on the other side. It's a question of how long she stays.
Also a question of what really SwimTrack do, because right now Shopify are not enticed to rotate at all. Okay, a big ultimate has been pulled out for some A main control as SwimTrack try to shift over to B, but again, Dodo in a great position, just catch one player on this cross and get on out of there. That'll be the task. Need the 1 for 0. It's a good flash, but the escape is true. Now a slide forward from Arya. Dodo was trying to stick around for maybe a little bit too long.
Go, go, go.
And now maybe the option would be Sarah, who's activating quickly on the flank. Very quick timing to catch behind these players in main.
Spike planted.
Goes down, guarding the other side of the wall, but the bullets aren't quite there. Corrupt locks down that flank. And now both of the checkmates from Shopify discarded. They'll just have to do an honest retake down numbers without too much util to work off of. Flash to try and bait out a fight, but again, SRG have not seen a player just yet, and the first player they see is holding an operator. The second one's Arya. That's not going to be a good look for you. We are now talking a 7-0 start in a decider map.
SwimTrack are winning every fight. At least in that last round they were. You have a perfect angle for Dodo. She gets the kill that she absolutely needs. Taking Sherrod out of the round on that timing pick past the flash. But the punish is so good from Arya. Any time where I feel like I'm watching around and Shopify get an opener, Shopify get a chance, Arya is always there, incredibly quick, to slide in for the trade. This hold just keeps getting deeper.
Yeah, and it's odd to me how long Shopify have waited to call the timeout. Back on Fracture, they waited until they were down 0-6. Now they're waiting until they're down 0-7. And credit where credit's due, I think coming out of the timeout, Shopify have had good reads and good adaptations to their overall macro. But at what point is it just too late now that SwimTrack already halfway to winning this map and taking the series?
And Shopify, coming out of this timeout, they're going to be on an eco of their own. This is really unseen territory for this Shopify team. It's been so long that we've seen this streak of theirs continue through. It's been so boring, honestly, a lot of the time to go and watch these tournaments because you see it and you just feel like you know what's coming. You know that Shopify's going to win. And it felt like they had plot armor in this tournament. Going down in the very first round, having to make a full lower bracket run. Even yesterday, by all accounts, they should have lost that BO5. They brought it back. Is this the bridge that's too far?
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have an undefeated SwimTrek Blue on the other side. They dropped a game in, or a series in the Swiss stage, but in main event, coming through the upper bracket, it's been absolutely flawless. Well, the third ult of the map looks pretty similar to the second. Instantly deleted, and Shopfire committing an ultimate into this one. Sarah just sending that one out here. I mean, that's a major investment early into a round where it's already completely even. I don't know. It's going to have to be some kind of a forward fight.
This fight has to be it.
Dodo faces up, but actually both sides sort of disengaged from that one. Shopfire, 5 players together now, actually running through main.
And they're just going to be too late. SwimTrek are already accelerating up the other side. Maybe they get a chance to catch onto the Viper mid. That's the only way back in here, and they do. Bob's dead.
Yeah, Bob couldn't hear those players coming. Was waiting for the rotate, but not looking the right way, so I guess an operator is going to get picked up. See who ends up claiming that one. And in the post plant, it's planted for spawn. SwimTrek Blue choose to flip the map, play in Shopify's own territory. And I think Lydia's saving the operator while the rest of the team is going for a 4v4 retake. That's the idea. They want to make sure Dodo has that for the next one. That is a wild call to make on the fly when you have numbers advantage, when you're down 0-7. They're essentially saying that they're happy to lose this round if it means holding on to the operator. It's up to these players on site now. Lexi already with 2. Try and actually win this thing. Shopfire Rebellion down on time, not much to work with, but they're absolutely winning out. Somehow, Dodonut gets the job done. The time will be there. Shopify Rebellion will not go down quietly. A thrifty win to keep in this one with their backs against the wall.
It's unfathomable, but that is the round that they win. They only have sheriffs. They're saving only 4 players committed. I am aghast that worked out.
That's wild. And that's like, that's such a hard call for Alexis to make too. Because it's like on the fly, because you can't like pre-plan that. That's just reacting being like, no, even if we have numbers, like the odds of this are bad already. So let's just hold on to the op. And now because they've succeeded and held the op, it's a huge win for them. See if they can hold on to this site. Already SwimTrek is just inside of everything, but Noya's here to play. Noya can't quite catch Sharad. This player has just been unbeatable all day long. SwimTrek Blue right back to their winning ways. Now a curveball through, crossing up Shopify, but Sarah fights through the blind for the kill. Plant still yet to come in. Corrupt tries to stick it for the time being, and it's spam on the other side, the dart ping as well. Keeping Shopify completely locked out. You thought they'd done what they needed to come back into this map, into this game, into the series. But instantly it has been stolen right on back. The operator they tried to save is down, and it's up to the new player in Lydia not to stand her own against Bob. SwimTrek right back to it.
And it's Bob and it's Sharad. Those are the players that are making this game look undoable for Shopify. That was a double swing to try and punish Sharad. That was a KO ult used. That was the right tools committed. Sharad still opened that round with a 2K. And the second that they did it, you had Bob to back up. That player who was alongside Alexis, alongside the old core back in Cloud9 White with her and Mel. Now looking to shut that streak down.
Finally, Noya uses the ultimate. I think it's been maybe 3 or 4 rounds she's just been sitting on that. Just getting overrun, trying to anchor the sights. And, oh no, Lydia's just gone. Wait, that's spam.
That was spam.
Lydia was in mid, by the way, behind the wall. Glowstick didn't use a dart. There was no utility to spot that. That was random.
Maybe just off footsteps.
I think it's trying to spam the position behind the box. Oh my god! What are they doing to Shopify?
Come on, let's go!
They're killing them.
That's our
Quite
fourth ult of
honestly.
the half. It's our fourth ult of the half in round 10. This is perplexing, to say the very least. I guess Bob dies, and now Sherrod is down. Hold on. That was Sherrod snapping back with the run it back. There's now a drone, catches Corrupt. Corrupt pinged out, trying to get on out of here, and will succeed.
They live.
Somehow, they're through it. And these shock darts not quite connecting. Noya will be delayed back through spawn. The two initiators trying to force through, and Noya catches Arya in the back. Still, you have to break the crosshair of Corrupt. Corrupt will drop. And Sarah, for 3, will keep some amount of hope alive.
It's another round. It's something for Shopify. And I can't fathom how they win that one. The start to this round was just ridiculous. Sherrod spamming into mid, gets a pick. And then, as the player comes to punish, follows up on another. Credit to Sarah, though. Bring the team back in. She had a really rough start to this map, but those 3 kills give at least some semblance of light for Shopify.
Swimtrack are ready to run an A split right now. You already see the pings, the pathway of what will eventually be the Viper Wall, where Arya is going to be going. And that's going to be problems. The last time Shopify played up in A main, Arya wrapped behind them and killed all of them. Already, Arya's just disrespecting the utility. Already, Arya's disrespecting the entirety of Shopify Rebellion. This is a team you shouldn't be allowed to disrespect, and Dodonut reminds Arya of that fact. Lydia gets involved in the action as well.
1 enemy remaining.
And now once Bob drops, Shopify Rebellion instantly shut down this hit. 33 HP for Glowstick. Plenty of time to deal with. But Noya first on the left will spot out that Sova. Take them down. Shopify's third.
Fighting out of a really tough round there for Shopify. These splits have been basically unstopped anytime Swimtrek has wanted to go for an exec so far this half. But they're actually getting a reply. I mean, if you can get 8 rounds, if you can win a pistol in the second half, you can start to at least tell a tale of this being doable for Shopify. For Swimtrek, though, you really want to close it out here. You don't want this series going to Haven. You want to get this half clean. You want to stomp them out of Breeze. Walk on your merry way.
See if they can do it. Right now, Swimtrack have divided their assets. Right, 3 players B, 2 on A, really just hitting this site with 2 players. And that will be really effective. Look at this, Shopify already rotating. And Noya, the only player to stick around on B. It'll be a fight in mid. Crouches down, lays out Sherrod, and a Hunter's Fury as well from Sarah. This is both for damage as well as some scouting options to actually see how real this hit is going to be. So Noya fills back, holds into spawn, tells her team it's actually just the B slam.
Bob is still late playing A, so there's only 2 players actually on B to hold. Harbor Ult can buy time. Can it buy enough?
It will buy plenty. But the plant isn't really great for Bob to play it going through spawn. That's why she's got to go for the sprint. She needs to kill players in the back of the head because she'll be a little bit too late to the party. I feel otherwise. She's so close to having all 3 of these players, but Shopify keep marching forward. Need to get these players down fast. We're Corrupt into the corner. Shopify can't waste any bullets. Now Bob on the wrong side of Pillar. Has to sprint all the way around the edge. This is what I was talking about. It is not easy to play at all. Swimtrack Blue get lost in the sauce on the round, and Shopify have done it. They have, therefore, a case to be made for the comeback.
I think you have to look at that round as an overcook from Swimtrack. They had the entirety of the A site with that fake, and I think it's fine to commit to B after that. But planting in the safe position and still going for this reflank effectively means you're gambling on your teammates winning a 2-on-4. And as soon as that doesn't happen, it's Shopify with 4. Sure, you've been owning them today. You've been playing great. But this is a team that you don't want to give any window back into a game.
Especially a team like this that can be so lethal on the attack side, too. Been impressed watching Alexis on the attack of this map. She can take over later into rounds. But Dodonut has continued to stay hot. And I think that's been the big story, right? The difference for Shopify Dodo can sometimes be streakier, hotter or colder. When her team needs her, she's been standing up now. Now just a dash into the site, and SwimTrek is just going to play the 5-on-5 retake.
Yeah, full on. Shopify will look to play up, though, in this post plan. Already a flash CT.
Look at that wall.
We'll see nothing off that.
That's when have you seen a harbor wall go that deep? All of this space seized. SwimTrek trying to work two players through Shopify's side, but there's a little gap for Dodo. And I don't know if she was spotted. 1 for 1. Going to be good enough for Shopify's duelist. With now Noya needs to get that kill. Gets them both on 1 singular HP. All right, Shopify. Trying to work their way back into this thing. Bob's the only one that could say otherwise, but Lydia won't let her have her moment. Another pistol round for Shopify as they close this gap even further.
It's a really big round for Shopify. And I like that. That call has to be on the fly to recognize how free that site is, recognize that you need more space, and even seeing that creative little pocket get played into for Dodo meant that SwimTrek had to take a hell of a lot of time to re-clear back through spawn before they could even start to approach the spike. But as always, they're going to buy some sheriffs on their ecos. The good news is that it means they have a chance at winning this round. The bad news is if they lose this one, an outlaw, something like that on round 3, makes it a bit easier to snowball with a bonus win. Shopify's already won a fair few of those today.
And that's exactly what they're looking for, to actually make this comeback a reality. Glow stick for the orb. It's a little dangerous to step into. Shopify, though, go in with numbers and keeping it quiet. This has been a staple of Lexi's calling on the attack side. So many contact looks into the pop on site. Once you realize that nobody's home or it's a more passive setup, it means that Shopify almost always have excess utility in the post plant, especially on a pistol round. That can be relevant. You have way less to work with to begin with. Flash through. Little peek out from Dodo. Traded out. Be a bit ambitious there. Taking their time as some smokes layer down into the site. I think it's been fairly reserved from Shopify, not giving any of those sheriffs an opportunity to strike until Bob activates on the left through mid. And with 3 guns kept in the next round, overall fairly successful for Shopify as they close it down even further.
Yeah, not too bad in the end. Get the gap down to 2 here. The question is, do they want to buy up around this? Yeah. You see Noya dropping a weapon over there. They really want to win this bonus round. And honestly, with the economic choices that ZoomQuest have made, besides Alexis on that bandit, it's not too far off from even here in the weaponry.
Alexis could have been donated a gun, but chooses just to play the sheriff instead, saying she can pick up the gun off someone's body if necessary, making sure that the econ isn't completely torched in the event they lose this round and the following. Still
Ride with that flash
contact.
primed. Yeah, that'll be off the contact of the harbor that they'd swing and fight. Shopify not testing that. Said they work back towards A main.
Shopify
already getting very active here.
Yeah, Shopify are in the stage of this half where they're allowed to do this because there's not money for an operator, but eventually this is going to be hard countered by that. Oh, glow stick spotted. Exit on out of there as the flash comes up. Glow stick chooses to stick around. A little bit of an off angle to work on, but hard to track the jet through the smoke, and that's where Corrupt is going to lay waste to you. Now no Sarah into the round. And no real control on the site. That harbor wall divvying things up nicely. Lydia somewhat isolated from her IGL.
There.
Tries to cover back. I'm worried about mid as
30
well. Our
seconds
Vipers are about to face off against one another. And Noya best Bob. That's a way back in here. If Shopify could escape through mid, the B site is theirs for the taking, but they don't have a plan of retreat. Instead, it's Noya who's getting brought back over into Alexis, make sure she's safe to escape with a spike. And with 12 seconds left, it is going to be down to the absolute wire. Arya sliding in, takes out Noya, and now just needs 1 kill on this player, just needs to stall long enough, and she's done it. Arya, glow stick actually, gets the shot to the side of the head to stop the snowball in the second half.
That's such an important round for SwimTrek. Shutting down the chance of a swift comeback from Shopify. And I like that they're more reserved there. They're not over-pushing. They're not giving Shopify anything in the mid-round. And honestly, they did start to over-rotate a little early. Of seeing that lurk pick from Noya. Saw players starting to leave this site, giving a road for Shopify to actually get out. But credit to Sherrod yet again. I think this kill onto Lydia was really the key. It meant that Shopify had stutter step for a second, ran out of time on that play.
Shot down.
Oh, that's a good pick onto Bob. Bob way out in front of it there. Didn't actually have the coverage from her teammate because of the harbor smoke that came down. And now the position that Arya finds herself in is brutal. Pressure in main, no control over mid whatsoever. Just needs to hide in the corner and bide her time. Worried about it. Stepping in, sees Sarah, and here comes the slide, and the trade is true. Dodonut now dominates the site. SwimTrek only have 3 players to try and break their way back in.
And they have no other avenue of approach, but working together back through mid here. Dodo on the high angle in this post punt. I think Sherrod has to be the difference maker yet again. 2 flashes for that Phoenix. Full kit on Corrupt as well. They're down numbers. Still a chance.
Dodonut spotted. And now the rest of Shopify push behind the wall. They need a flash back in. And that's where Dodonut capitalizes off of her teammate's util. On a good angle. Now just chewing up more and more of the clock. Corrupt needs to put some pressure down onto the spike. Alexis walks straight into Corrupt. Corrupt realized what was going on, but now needs to get on the spike. Out in the open now as the swings come through. Noya hiding, baiting it out, and there's not time left. She has done enough. Shopify take another.
Bob got picked at the very beginning of that round, which opened the door for Shopify to get this site. I couldn't tell if she was just trying to walk and take a timing or maybe quick claim that orb. Either way, from playing at an immediate player disadvantage, Shopify looks to trade on out. Pinch very nicely onto the isolated Neon on B. Win what could have been a bit of an awkward round.
I believe SwimTrek called a timeout coming out of the loss. Didn't need any in the first half. Things were going a little bit too well for them. But now with the econ a bit scuffed and some ultimates not too far away. Some big decisions to make here. As Shopify come even closer to tying this thing up.
I'd like to see them really save into this round and try and get an operator into round 18. With how much Shopify has been leaning into this contacting style, I think that's one of the best solves that SwimTrek can bring to the field. And I think on top of that, you want to look to give slightly less these early plays. It was Bob getting picked in that earlier round. They've lost players in past rounds on some of these kind of fast A main fights. I think they've looked really strong when they're playing back and as Shopify is fighting and going for these floods or just taking something more intentional together. I think these kind of one-by-one early fights that, well, maybe earlier in this series were working and giving that confidence. I don't think the risk is worth it right now.
Still, I feel like it might be a little hard to tame the play style of SwimTrek Blue.
Scanning ahead.
Definitely on the wild side. Stark contrast to how Shopify has pretty much always operated as a team. Shopify, very diligent team, very by-the-books team. But I think Alexis actually talked about how it can sometimes be more difficult coming into games in GC where you play against teams with specific styles that are a little bit more just run at you or a little bit fast and loose, wackier comps. It's hard to actually play your own style of game when a team like SwimTrek is just doing their thing like they do.
And they're great at it. Definitely. Makes it a challenge to find answers for this team. League around SwimTrek was leaning heavily towards this safe site. Shopify yet again helps contact their way into an execute and get a completely free B site as a reward.
I like the pathing there from Dodo. Actually not using the dash to get to that first jump up as a second layer, and Noya hanging out in spawn as well. We'll spot anyone going for a flank. Guess Bob is gonna get hers, but knows that Noya will be waiting for her on the cross, so chooses to work back to her team's in tunnel.
Another one of these deeper positions in the post front. This time it's Lydia. Puts it up wall. Sherrod's ready for it, though. That was a nice shot.
Not a bad clear at all. That would be the run it back unlocked for round number 18. Do you think Bob and Glowstick want to get some deaths to Spike online here? There you go. Get the ult orbs online. Make sure you got 4 out of 5 in the next. And there you go. Bob has it. And a rifle. And actually, we don't even necessarily need to die if we don't want to. Shopify now just trail by 1. And this is... I don't know. I feel like this is impressive. Because Shopify is usually a team that is just dominating people. Right? But now in back-to-back days that we've seen multiple times from them, whether it was the Game 5 yesterday, clawing back from a 10-4 deficit, to now here, 0-7 to 8-9. A huge difference going on this streak after that round 7 timeout. It's always been these timeouts that Shopify are able to use to catapult themselves ahead.
True resiliency from them. But this is going to be the most difficult round of their comeback. 4 ults for their opponent. Sherrod already playing close in mid. So many traps to defuse in this round. Between the operator now purchased for Bob, and the risk of this refight in mid off the Neon's contact.
I think mid control's been a little lackluster for Swim so far this half. So it could come as quite the surprise here. Good blind up. Not punished. Sherrod was really taking their time with it. But the moment they chose to strike was great. Now no duelist into it. How do you actually work into a site? Especially now that you're missing your flashes as well. Run it back, sent back. And now another ultimate from the other duelist as Arya comes sliding in for a kill of their own. It's really just Noya that has been coming in at the end of some of these plays to try and equalize, but I think that mid 1-2 punch was just exactly what the doctor ordered for Swim Track. Now Noya's going to find all these players. I mean, somehow she slipped the needle there. That is really impressive that she even gets one in that situation without the instant trade, but at the end of the day, Swim Track, they're on double digits now, and Shopify have to look forward to the next.
Critically, they also only have to use 2 ultimates for that one. Didn't even have to empty out the piggy bank to get it done. That crossfire play was very different. Like you said, they've been playing these light mid setups a lot, playing more towards the sites themselves. Here they show that they can do that and execute on it very well. Well, it didn't come up big time in that previous round. The fact that Shopify know that Bob has an op means they have to change their approach. They have to use util to clear. They can't contact as much. You see it here and how they're fighting fast for main.
I mean, it's just the hero rifle for Dodo, so Alexis is trying to set up her duelist in any way that she can. They have some control over the site. Noya still that late mid option. Shopify can activate on, but it's spam kills that take out the hero gun. Sarah's gonna carry the flame now. Picks that one up, but it's still not comfortable at all for Shopify. Just 2 players alive on site.
If a player was gonna bring it back, it would have to be Noya. Late in this lurk position mid. Your teammates has ultimates, but you don't want to invest these unless you really have a chance in this round. I think her killing Bob would be the only way back in.
Bob gets caught by Noya, but now Noya trying to make that sprint over for the operator and doesn't have any idea that Arya was in double doors the entire time. And Arya very quickly reminds Shopify that you must deal with her. Swimtrack Blue have completely discarded this streak out of Shopify. Now strung together a couple of their own and can see the writing on the wall. The championship is now within grasp.
A huge moment for these players. For Bob hasn't won in Game Changer since all the way back with Cloud9 White. For the rest of them, it'll be the first time to get that accolade. You look at these names, they've been around on different mixes throughout, have gotten deep performances, but for all of them, it's been the consistent theme of every other GC team that Shopify is where the buck stops. This round, this could be the one to make a difference.
Same opener for Dodonut. Dash up and over with the flash, but this time Bob comes around the corner with the big gun. And a Hunter's Fury too, trying to find some way back in is Sarah. Reinforcements have arrived though, and Bob's up is still there. Noya says no, and now drops her own pit into the floor. Shopify Rebellion need to work around this Hunter's Fury as Glowsticks just starts hurling it their way. And that's allowed Sleepy Arya to get right up onto the other side of the pit. Oya is still isolated. Her teammates miles away. The spike still to be planted. Now the reckoning. And this round will be that. Shopify Rebellion cannot afford this one to slip away. And Sarah has gone. Now Noya's out of it too. It's only Lydia. And now it's only Swim Trek. One more round is all they need to take this whole thing.
What a cleanup from them. That was a round for Shopify. They finally had their ults. They had an even round. They had a chance. But Swim Trek steal it back away. This map started 7-0. It slipped to near even. And now Swim Trek wrestle back control at the last moment. Force the second timeout from Shopify.
Better late than never. The timeouts have been difference makers for Shopify. You look at the rounds down at the bottom. After round 7, that's when they called their other one. Went on such a streak after it, but now there is no more room left for error. Shopify Rebellion, you know, a lot more pressure on them coming into this tournament, with Mel stepping away from the roster for the time being. Expectations were lower, but this is still the team. There's still 4 of the players that you know are great. Lydia, for a long time back in the early days of GC, was at the top on signed orgs as well. But it's been a wake-up call. From going down to the lower bracket to now having their backs against the wall consistently versus Swim Trek. They would have to show that same tenacity they had in Game 5 of their series yesterday if they wanted to stop this title from being taken.
They started these playoffs losing in the very first round. They ran it all the way through the lower bracket. Made it here. Up for this final. But now Bob trying to put an end to it.
This operator was lethal in the previous round. Dodonut didn't get to play it. Now Dodonut's seen, but this time it goes wide. Room for error allowed for Shopify, as now Sarah delivers death on the other side of the map. Opening pick for Shopify. And Swim Trek a little bit scattered. They give up all their early control in B main. Haha. But mid, it still finds it.
That's the Bob coming in. So now it has to be an exec into B.
Alexis.
It has to be this push from Shopify.
It's time. She's leading from the front, but already drops down. Glowstick fills into the site. This hold from Arya, already good for a couple, and there might be more where that's from. It is Sarah versus the world. So much left to do. Alexis bleeding out in the corner. The Rebels are down. Out with the gold and in with the blue in their first ever event. Swim Trek go on a perfect run to become your NA Game Changers champions.